Yes, and just like that, we are back again on the Open Space podcast where we deliberate and talk about very pertinent issues. We talk about things that are supposed to get you enlightened, things that are supposed to broaden your scope and give you so much insight into so many topics. We delve into topics like politics, business, education, and so much more. Today, usually we make it a point to make sure that we bring to you remarkable people who have a major role to play in these conversations and who are movers and shakers and people who are able to broaden our knowledge and our mindset. Today, I have one of such people with us, a remarkable personality at that. I have none other in the studios with me than someone who is a coach, a trainer, someone who pushes people to develop their minds to the best. I have with me Kwesi Folson. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
On the Open Space
Podcast.
For
mentioning my name correctly.
Sure.
The proper way. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. We'd like to get a little bit of perspective as to who you are beyond what I've mentioned so far.
Okay. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here once again. Okay, so my name is Kwesi Folson. I always love to emphasize on my surname, but Kwesi Folson is my name. I'm an award-winning public speaker, an entrepreneur, and I'm a coach. What essentially I do is that I run a company called Revolute Solutions Limited. We offer two main solutions, which are human capital development and then marketing solutions. So essentially, that's what we do. But more than that, I go around speaking to corporations, to schools. I speak to a lot of young people, to professionals. And what I help them do is that I help them build a brand. I help some of them scale their businesses, and I help people also build their minds in terms of personal development or mental development, whereby you can be able to use your mind to be able to achieve success. Because if you can control your mentality with intentionality, then you can create your desired reality, and that is life. So essentially, That's about me.
That's quite interesting for an introduction, and I'm sure our audience is getting a knack for what you're talking about, because
Absolutely.
I'm sure they even clicked to watch this video because they saw the caption and they thought there's something worth watching.
Yeah.
So with all that you've mentioned, I mean, helping people to build their brands, helping people to develop their minds and all that, how important are these things? Why do people need to be concerned about building a good brand to begin with?
Okay, so the thing about branding is that, first of all, what you must know is that it is not an option.
Okay.
Because everybody, whether you like it or not, whether you're conscious of it or not, you already have a brand.
Okay.
So you have a brand, whether you know it or not. When you were 3 years old or when you were 5 years old, you had a brand. When you were in primary school, you had a brand. Anybody under the sound of my voice, you already have a brand. So personal branding is not an option, it's a must. Why am I saying this? Now let's take you back to school.
Sure.
I'm sure if I mention who was the most quiet or least troublesome person, somebody comes to your mind.
Somebody does.
Once you can attach somebody to something, that is what branding is, essentially. Okay. So being able to have something that, in fact, I always love to call branding or personal branding your reputational capital.
Okay.
So everybody has a brand. That is your reputational capital. What do people say about you when you are not in the room? That is what branding. So then personal branding, or what we do, is that it is the strategic and intentional way of building a brand, because you already have a brand. If my brand was something else, now with personal branding, the only thing that I'm doing is that I'm using intention, something called the law of intentionality, which states that nothing grows by accident.
Okay.
That means that anything that I want to grow in this life, I have to be able to be intentional about it. So if I want to grow my brand, or I want to build a brand, or I want to build my reputation, then I have to first of all be intentional about it. However, being intentional about something is not enough. A lot of people are intentional about a lot of things, but the people who are intentional and couple it with strategy are the people that win. So strategic intention, and you use that to build a brand.
That's quite interesting. Quite interesting. So you're trying to mention to us at this moment that everybody already, in a sense, has a brand.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Everybody has a brand. So it's not an option. So if you already have a brand, it is your job to be able to build your brand in a way that you want it to be. Exactly that.
Wow.
Branding is ultimately a battle of two major things. It's a battle of perception and projection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perception, how people see you.
Exactly.
And then how you've projected yourself.
So it's a battle
it is.
of projection and perception.
Wow, that's quite interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure our audience is taking note of
Yeah.
this. So, I mean, there are people or there are companies that we can kind of associate to have big brands. So sometimes someone says, I'm doing a business with a big brand, and everybody actually wants to be associated with a big brand.
Yeah.
So then it means that branding is important, and then
Absolutely.
being a big brand is also more important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I feel as if there should be a journey from being, say, someone who has a brand as just a person, and someone who has a brand that people want to be associated with.
Yeah.
Big
100%.
question: how do we get to that
Okay.
level? The latter.
Yeah. So a brand that people want to associate with. So first of all, so it backtracks to what I started with.
Okay.
So in order for you to make the journey, because you already have a brand, whether you like it or not. So that's what we have to have in mind, at the back of our mind. So you already have a brand. So now that you already have a brand, now you want to make a lot of people be associated with
With the
your
brand.
brand, then you need, first of all, the first step, which is strategic intention. So that's before. But most importantly is about finding clarity.
Okay.
And clarity in what exactly? I'm talking about clarity and authenticity.
Okay.
Because authenticity is the bedrock of personal branding. Let me say that again. Authenticity is the bedrock of personal branding. What that means is that if you want to build a very successful brand, and a big brand, I must say, then you have to be authentic.
Okay.
Like you have to. It's not you don't have to be try. You don't have to try and imitate somebody else. Try to copy somebody's brand. Tit for tat. Everything. I don't know if tit for tat is the right expression, but to use in this scenario context, but you're trying to copy everything. Ditto. That's the correct thing I would say. Ditto. You want to copy everything. You have to be authentic. First of all, you have to find out what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, how exactly do I want to be seen in a way that is unique to the market. So once you find that authenticity, then it kickstarts the journey to people associating with your brand. So that's the first thing. Number two thing is that you need to be able to find your UVP, which is essentially is your unique value proposition. Okay. So the thing is that there's something valuable about what you do, or about anything that you do. The word value comes from an old word known as valoir, and that word means worthy. Now, when we are talking about worthy, I'm talking about what is worthy about you, what is worthy about your skill set, your expertise, that people will love to hear, that people will love to listen to you for, that people will love to hire you for. Once you find that unique value proposition in a way that you're doing something in a particular way that people around you in your community, in your business ecosystem, whatever it may be, they are not doing it the exact same way. You want to find out your unique value proposition. Once you have that, then it gives you an upper hand in the market for people to now say, oh, I want to be able to associate myself with him. So that's the second thing. Number three thing is that you need visibility of your brand. Okay. You see, a lot of times, in as much as ability is great, and we keep on stressing on ability, you have to get good, you have to be better at your skills. So people are getting another master's degree, they're going to get another doctorate degree, they're getting another bachelor's degree. Whatever you may be doing, the thing is that ability is good, but sometimes, especially when it comes to building a brand, visibility is the best thing, or it's the best thing for you to do. So you need visibility, because if nobody knows what you do, then nobody can be able to patronize what you do.
True.
Okay. So people don't know what you don't show. So visibility is about you showing something, projecting something. So that is what you want to do. Now, the fourth step that you may want to do is that visibility, even though visibility is great, and then because visibility is about getting people to see you. So getting a lot of people, or getting the necessary people to see you. Okay, so sometimes it's not just about everybody seeing, it's about just the right eyeballs on you. Now, even though that is great and people are seeing your ability and all of that, it's not enough. Listen to this. In a world where people are trying to gain visibility, the people that build authority win.
Okay.
Let me say that again. In a world where people are trying to gain visibility, the people that build authority win. So you want to transition, after you gain visibility, you want to focus your energies on how can I build authority. The moment you begin to build authority, people will flock to you. People will come to you. You will become a people magnet. People will be looking for you high and low. You will be in demand. You'll be sought after. You will be looked for everywhere. You even have to start praying to God to just keep you somewhere, keep you hitting a bit. Authority is what gets you through the door, I'm telling you. Because you see, the authority is about, once you're visible, how can I then be seen as the go-to person in this particular niche? Okay, so now people have seen you, okay, you're a host, you do whatever you're doing, but how can you become the go-to person? How can now intellectual people in your space now rub ideas with you? How can they come to you for advice? When people see you as the go-to person,
You've won.
you've won the game of branding. So that's about it. So let me just authenticity, your value, so your unique value proposition, visibility, authority. With these 4 steps, I'm telling you, once you are able to do them and do them properly, people will come to
People will come to you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. When we look into today's modern world, we see brands or companies that we can assume to be big brands.
Yeah.
So when we come to the transport industry, we can talk about cars that are big brands. We can talk about the Mercedes-Benz. When we go into, say, food, we can talk about Coca-Cola as big brands. These are brands or companies that have been around for a long time. Now, do you think a long time, plays a factor in someone becoming a strong brand, or there are other factors that come into play?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
The thing about time is that it tests your ability. You see, time reviews. Okay, so time reviews that, okay, being able to do something for a long time is very commendable. It's something that people should always want to do or should aspire to be. Like you want to be able to do something for a long time. Longevity is key. But the thing is that in the branding game, it is always quality over quantity.
Okay.
And most of the time, the people who build quality brands in a short period of time oftentimes take over the market from people who have been in the game for a long period of time.
Okay.
But the thing is that in order to win, you need to have quality and longevity. That's the thing. So if you have both of them, you've won. However, if I'm just comparing just a regular brand and saying okay, can somebody just pop out within the next 2-3 years and still have a great brand? Of course. If you're projecting something that's quality and you understand how to maneuver within the space or within the ecosystem that you are in, then you'll be able to conquer the market. So it depends. That's my answer. My answer is that it depends. So yes and no.
Very interesting.
Absolutely.
I saw something on the internet yesterday. This is away from any question I even thought of asking. It's quite a big question. It's a question that some Ghanaians have been thinking to themselves and asking. So this is a popular automaker in Ghana, just in Ghana primarily. Kantanka Automobiles. Now
You've named
in Ghana.
Okay.
Now, Kantanka Automobiles is doing basically what big car companies can do. So if big car company like I don't know, any big car company we can name in Europe or something, maybe they do an SUV. Kantanka is also able to do an SUV. They do a 4-wheel drive. He's able to do same. They do an electric car. He's able to do an electric car. But I don't think Kantanka makes as much sales as they would want to. I may be very mistaken on this matter, but I'm just speculating. It's a very big question. I do recognize that. If Kantanka Automobiles, if somebody was creating a Kantanka, what would be your advice to them? Because this is something that is not known with Africans. Africans don't necessarily make cars. And someone is trying to break into that market. How do you do that?
So the thing about branding is you have to leverage the number one currency in branding.
Okay.
Do you know what the number one currency is?
No.
It's trust.
Okay.
TRUST, trust. If people don't trust your brand, it's going to be hard for you to be able to make some gains off your brand. That's the whole thing. So that's why I said branding is a battle of projection and perception. What that means essentially is this. Let me just even say this, by the way. Personal branding, even though we use the word personal, and personal connotes or conveys this idea of individualism, me, personal. I mean, it's talking about you. The thing is that in the personal branding equation, it's not just about you. It's about you and other people. That's why I said it's a battle of projection and perception, because who is on the other hand of the equation doing the perceiving? It's other people. So what that means is that for businesses, when it comes to branding essentially is not just about you. It's not just about what you can do. It's also about how the market perceives you. Let me take you to this. And that's one thing about me. In 2018, I started my journey into etymology. Etymology, by the way, is the study and origin of the roots of words and languages. The word brand comes from a Proto-Germanic word. When I say Proto-Germanic, for anybody who's listening, and I just don't want this to be so technical for you, it's like saying an older form of German. Okay. So just like we had English and Old English, so walketh, slappeth, whatever you may want to
like
put
King
in.
James and NIV.
King James and NIV, exactly that. So Proto-Germanic so the word brand came from an old Proto-Germanic word known as brand, B-R-A-N-D-R, and that word meant to burn. To burn, as in with fire. Okay. Now, what do you think that means in relation to how we understand branding today? Do you have any idea?
To burn.
Yeah, let me help you out. So when I'm talking about to burn, it was, and that word was used, by the way, in the 14th, 15th century thereabout. So now what happened was that people's assets were livestock. Okay. Now, if you had a goat and I had a goat, goats look similar. So how can I tell if this is your goat and this is my goat?
True.
They used to burn inscriptions on the horns of the cattle. So maybe write K for Kwesi, F for Folson. And then anybody that comes here just says, oh, this is Kwesi's goat, this is Folson's goat.
True.
So it makes it easier. So what that means is that the primary purpose for branding is differentiation.
Okay.
Anyway, let me not stray into that. I just had to say that, by the way. So you want to be able to have this. You want to be able to leverage the trust in the market. So for somebody trying to build another Kantanka, the thing is that can you be able to let people have trust in whatever you do? If you can have that, then you'll be fine. So I think, gaining trust in branding can come in so many different forms. But the easiest way to be able to gain trust from somebody is by collaboration.
Okay.
If I do a work with somebody that you already know and trust, they can trust me.
True.
So for somebody trying to build another Kantanka, one of the easiest way to do that, in my idea, this is just a random idea. I'm not trying to say I'm the expert in all of that. This is what I can say. Collaborate with a big car brand. Do everything you can. If you want to go and get some a special part of your car, I don't know, whatever it may be. Say, okay, we made this car, but we got this special part from BMW. People are like, oh, you're in Ghana, you're in Africa, you build a car, and then you partner with BMW to also help you with the parts of your car, or you outsource some part of the building of your car to them. And already now it creates trust in them. Now they perceive you as the easiest person. But now if you are not collaborating with anybody that people trust already and you're trying to do something, it may be hard. True. However, it's still doable and it's still possible, just that it's going to be harder and more difficult. So that's why I can say leverage the number one currency of personal branding or of branding, which is trust. And if you can leverage that currency, you can be able to do literally anything in the market.
Interesting. So leverage trust. Make sure that people trust your brand, or you've associated with people that we can trust.
Yes.
And then that helps you to grow quickly.
100%.
That's wonderful. So we are moving on to our next question. And that would be, we have different categories of, let me put them this way. So we can say that someone has a gift or skill or a talent. What would we say is the difference between these three words? So a gift, a skill, a talent. Are they the same to begin with?
Yeah. To some extent. So a gift is something that you were born with. Because what's his gift? Gift is somebody giving you something. So who gave it to you? That's the number one question we should be asking. So gift. So somebody gifted something to you. So essentially, before you were born, everybody had a gift. That's what I believe. So something was given to you. So that is a gift. And who? God. So that is what a gift is. A skill is a skill. A skill can be developed. Okay, so I can develop any skill. When you came here, you literally had no skills. True. I mean, when I came, here as in on the earth.
Yeah.
You had no skills. They had to teach you how to eat, teach you how to brush your teeth. That was a skill. Teach you how to bath, teach you how to do literally anything. Everything. That is a skill. For a talent, I'll say that for me, a talent is the easiest thing that you can do naturally. So it's like when it's like that no-brainer thing. So what can you do without much thought? That is what a talent is. So a gift is given to you, skills are developed, and your talent is that no-brainer thing to you. That's the difference.
Wow, interesting. Succinct answer. So we've come to recognize that, first of all, branding is important.
Yeah.
And then again, people need to actually endeavor to grow a good brand and
Yeah.
everything. And we've noticed the differences between gifts, skill, talents, and all the other facets. Now, how do you, I think you may have already answered this in some form already.
Okay.
But what for you would make you notice that this is a better brand than this other thing?
Yeah.
Say they're producing the same thing.
Yeah. So remember what I said.
Yeah.
I said the primary purpose of what branding is what differentiation. So when I'm looking at them, I'm trying to find the major differences. So if you want to compare a brand, you have to look at the differences, and there are different levels to what everybody built. Okay, so you want to find the things that they do. But the number one thing you want to look for is the quality. Quality is literally the determinant of two things. Because if I build two identical things, what exactly differentiates them? Because we are prime purpose is differentiation. So I'm looking for something that is a differentiating factor. And if both of them I want to look for something that is quality. There are different ways to depict quality. One of the ways to depict quality is something called price. Just your pricing can depict quality, because if you are the best, nobody expects you to be the cheapest. And if you are the cheapest, nobody expects you to be the best. So if I want to be able to perceive something as quality, just the price. That is why pricing is so important to business. That's why pricing is so important in anything that you do. Everything that you do, pricing is important. It's not it's good to be affordable, but sometimes you may also want to be able to increase your price when it matters the most.
True.
Especially if you believe that you have that type of quality. I'm not just saying go and increase your price for nothing. If you don't have that type of quality, you go and increase your price, they'll just be insulting you. So you want to be able to do that only when you believe that what you have is something that people can truly not find in the market at that particular level. And once you have that, you'll be fine. So one of the easiest ways to be find out, you look at two items. For me, if I was going to buy, I look at 2 cans of milk. And I'm trying to look at which of them. I mean, Ideal and maybe Peak. I don't know. Yeah. And I look at that and I'm like, oh, I'll probably buy this one because it's more expensive. Absolutely.
Wow. Interesting. How price plays a role and quality. I think that the major take home
the major take home is quality. But quality
depicted in price.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Very, very interesting. In all of these things, I think we get into an entrepreneurial discussion.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk recently about how young people or people in general should be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of talk about how there's no employment in a certain country.
Yeah.
Not mentioning Ghana in any way. But there's no employment in a certain country, or there's hardship in a certain place and all that. So it pushes people to be entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
What's entrepreneurship? Why should we get into that?
Well. So entrepreneurship is your ability to be able to find problems and provide solutions for them.
Okay.
As simple as that. Now, what really defines an entrepreneur is when the person sees the problem, but not just the problem, but sees the money in the problem. You see, you can see there are so many problems out there. Can you see the money in the problem? When you see the money in the problem, that makes you an entrepreneur. But the first thing, first and foremost, it's like the primary thing is just to be able to identify a problem. And then not just the problem is just not enough. Can you see a correlation between how you can solve it? Okay, now if you can find what you can solve, then you can be able to fix that, and you are right that you are an entrepreneur. But when I'm talking about an entrepreneur, you have to be able to see the money in the problem. And then you have to be able to provide that solution for it. But there are 2 types of entrepreneurs. Okay. So there's the self-employed entrepreneur, and there's the business-minded entrepreneur.
Okay.
Let me say that again. There's the self-employed entrepreneur, and there's the business-minded entrepreneur. Self-employed. This is the kind of person who's saying, "Oh, I don't want to work for anybody," but his business is he, himself, his spirit, his soul. Him.
He's the business.
He has delegated all the parts of his business to himself. And what happens is that you are expending a lot of your energy. And once all of your energy is going into you doing so many things, you cannot focus on things that are priority, like the task that can bring you enough revenue and money. Like you look at all of the great, do you see Kwame Despard or Elon Musk doing every single part of his business? You see Elon Musk at the same time he's screwing the tires. At the same time it doesn't work like that. There are two types of ones. So the people who really make a lot of money are the business-minded entrepreneurs, not the self-employed minded entrepreneurs. That's the thing. So that's the whole thing about entrepreneurship. However, I would say that when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's not everybody that is naturally wired to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Let me just put that out there. Because people differ in propensity levels when it comes to entrepreneurship. So like there are literally levels to entrepreneurial propensity. Let me put it that way. So at the first level of entrepreneurial propensity, there's something called the entrepreneurial drive. So it's like you have this. No, let me call it this. This is the starting one. The first one is the entrepreneurial edge. So the edge is whereby it's like you have the edge, you see the problems, it's like, you want to do something, but that's not enough. Then there's the drive. You come to the drive, that is whereby you act on the edge. Then there's something called the entrepreneurial spirit, whereby it's not just you now taking action, it's like the action comes so naturally to you. So the entrepreneurial edge, the entrepreneurial drive, and the entrepreneurial spirit. So it's like when you have the entrepreneurial spirit level of propensity when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's like there's nothing you can do. This like those are the people that it's impossible for them to work for people. Yes. So it differs. So somebody who has the entrepreneurial drive, who has the propensity level of the entrepreneurial the entrepreneurial drive level, is somebody who can at least work for somebody and then say, okay, maybe after some time I want to move. Entrepreneurial drive, urge, you have not yet even dabbled into entrepreneurship. So you will be majorly working for people. So that is one of my concepts. I'm putting this out in one of my books. I don't want this is my first time literally mentioned. So one of my books is going to come out. You see that. And so these are the three levels of entrepreneurial propensity. So entrepreneurial urge, drive, the spirit. Thank you.
Wow, very interesting. Because there seems to be a push for people to really get into entrepreneurship. And I think from what you're saying, it's something that we should get into. So thank you very much for being with us. We'll be on a short break at this point. We're back with more for you.